What's going on, everybody? Appreciate you tuning in. Hope you had a good Father's Day as we continue on here with the NBA Finals. Thunder up 3-2 now and one game away from closing this thing out. But still, all the national conversation is about what is happening with teams not in the finals, mainly with the Suns right now and Kevin Durant. And this is just, it's getting really weird. Like, this whole offseason for him is very strange, the number of teams that haven't seemed to be interested that I thought would have been, and the teams that are making moves that don't make much sense. It was reported, a few weeks ago or a few days ago that the Spurs were kind of one of the main teams making a push. Well, now the reports from Shams and from a bunch of people are saying that KD's preferred destination would be San Antonio. He also reportedly is uninterested in going to Minnesota. Not sure why. I think that's a great fit for him. That's one of the teams that I thought would be the best fit for him. And the other team he's looking at, or apparently like his interest in there, is the Rockets. Miami is still apparently off in the distance right now a little bit, but the two Texas teams have a pretty big say in this right now. So I'm going to dive into each of those three teams a little bit, but overarching thought on that decision or the statement that he's interested in playing the Spurs and open to the Rockets and not interested in the Timberwolves tells me something that we kind of already knew about KD, something that's been talked about a lot for him. And he admittedly will say all the time that he is interested in being a better basketball player today than he was yesterday. He's into self-improvement. He's kind of obsessed with basketball. I don't know if he's obsessed with winning. The best opportunity he would have to win right away, because he doesn't have much time left in this league, would be Minnesota. That team is ready to compete and ready to win. And you go there, I mean, it's probably Randall they move off of. But in that situation, that team is ready to try and make something happen. But that's the one team in that mix he said he's not interested in going to. Instead, he wants to go to San Antonio, who is years away, I think, 2-3 years away from being in a situation where they are really competing for a title. But this sure would be a lot of fun. Playing with Chris Paul, playing with Fox, playing with Victor Wembanyama. Probably they would do everything they could to keep Castle as well. That's a fun team. That's a good team. And they're certainly better with KD. But are they better than the Thunder? No. Like, what are they doing in the West? I don't know. Not a lot. Maybe winning a series, maybe 2. Maybe Western Conference Finals as a peak. But, that's about it. So it's a weird situation. It's just like you'd think at this point in his career, he'd want to go to a contender and have a chance to try and win a championship. Now, he got killed for doing that. When he went to Golden State, it was a different situation. It was years ago, leaving a team that had an incredible season in OKC to go to the team that beat you, that had just won, 70 games. Not a great look in a lot of NBA fans' eyes, but it's a little bit different this time around. I think people would be a lot more understanding and kind of okay with it, NBA fans and kind of his legacy. But he really just feels like what he's saying is, I just want to go somewhere and hoop the last few years of being in this league and have a good time and have some fun, which I guess all the power to him, but it's just, you'd think winning would also matter. Because I don't think they're going to be doing that in San Antonio. So the San Antonio piece, we'll start there, I guess, since that is the team he's reportedly interested in. They obviously have some draft capital. They got, the second overall pick in this year's draft. I don't think they're giving that up. They do have the 14th pick in this year's draft from Atlanta. You probably get that one. This is a deep enough draft that you probably get a piece that's eligible or a piece that will help out there. And then they got a bunch of draft swaps and some future firsts. And I mean, they got draft capital to make some moves. I mean, they actually have like a lot of draft capital But a lot of it's further down the road. And by that point, you figure the San Antonio team would be really kind of coming into their own. Victor Wembanyama was going to be the best player in this league in 2 years, probably 3 years. And so they're not going to be a lot of rebound team as long as he's healthy for probably as long as he is there. This is probably the last year that they miss out, and then I think they start to really kind of take off. So a lot of those future picks don't do a ton for you. They become, that's a good fit. I don't think it's a great fit. Does space the court a little bit more, does give them some shooting. And I think that would help out Wembanyama a lot, having just the opportunity of going through shooting drills and practices with KD. And maybe that's what he's really looking at, is just kind of being a mentor and having a good time. And he looks at Wemby and he looks at kind of some of the pieces they have, and he's like, I can get these guys a lot better. I can go there and have fun, just enjoy my time. And maybe there's an element to this that, San Antonio's as small market as about Sacramento, or as small market as you're possibly going to get. What happens there doesn't make the back pages of the papers often. And if he just is tired of being in the limelight, tired of, you see how many people he goes after on Twitter and arguing with all this stuff and having all these reporters. And if you just want to go somewhere where you're off the grid and can just hoop, that is San Antonio. That is San Antonio in a nutshell. And they've had a really, their history has shown that they're able to win with that kind of mentality. It's just, I don't think the timelines are so different. Wemby is so young. Fox is so young. Castle is so young. Their core are guys that need to get reps and get better and build. And you're going to bring in a guy that, it's not like KD is selfish, but he's still going to get you 26, 27. And it's got to come from something. And he's going to get some shots up. And he's just going to take reps away from those guys. And he's going to be retired in 3 years-ish, somewhere around there. Doesn't really bode well for building something for San Antonio. It doesn't make sense on San Antonio's side unless they really just want to get to the postseason and get some experience for some of these younger guys there. But if they really think KD gets them to the point where now they are a contender, I think you could line them up and make an argument against pretty much everybody in the West other than the Thunder, but like at the Thunder, it's not close. And then, so if you're just interested in making the Western Conference Finals, maybe you get lucky. Maybe there's injuries, maybe the other stuff. Maybe that's what they just think. We can put ourselves towards the last four. That's good enough. I don't know. I don't love it for San Antonio. I don't love it for Phoenix as far as the trade assets you're going to get. And I don't really love it for KD. There's some trade assets there, and there's some decent ones. You're going to have to take Harrison Barnes for the contract. You're going to end up having to take, probably Dan Vassell. I mean, which isn't bad. Like, that's not a terrible situation. And maybe you end up having to take like Keldon Johnson, something like that. I mean, they're going to throw some guys at you that are okay. It's just those picks aren't going to have much value. And so what we just saw with Desmond Bane, where the Magic gave up so many of their first round picks, is because they're saying, hey, like, what is the 20th pick in the draft to us? What is the 25th pick? Like, we're going to be good. We're expecting to be good. Those picks aren't going to be anything of quality. Okay, like if you don't have a lottery pick, in most drafts, if you don't have a top 10 pick, it don't really matter.